Welcome to Fred Achando Analysis, ladies and gentlemen. For the first time in the history of our nation, I have seen a member of parliament giving a warning to a top military officer. In fact, Deputy Chief of Defense Forces of the military. And it is business as usual. I have never seen this, and I don't think it has ever happened in the history of Kenya since independence. Kapsaret Member of Parliament, Mr. Honorable Oscar Sudi, took his time to warn the Lieutenant General Major Francis Ogola. When Oscar Sudi was trying to respond to some statements that were made by Jeremiah Kioni, he joined them with this military guy, and he's alleging that they are part of the team that went to subvert the will of the people.
Jeremiah Kioni, leo nataka ni kuongeleshe na mtu anaitwa Ogola. Watu walikuwa wanataka kutuletea hasara katika taifa letu la Kenya. Jeremiah Kioni, kama hauna watoto wanaweza kusaidia kiakili, ama kama hauna wajomba ama marafiki wa karibu, wacha mimi nikusaidie. Wacha kusema sijui William Ruto alipata hii, Raila Odinga alipata hii, sijui nani alipata gani. You are not IBC. Wewe sio team ya IBC, wewe sio anything. Wewe ulikuwa unasimama mjumbe kama mimi. Ujiulize kwanza ulishindwa vipi? Na kama hujui ulishindwa vipi, tell your family to please wakusaidie kiakili. Number 2. Mtu anaitwa Ogola. Nashangaa vile tunaheshimu jeshi yetu. Wanakuanga na heshima kubwa sana Kenya na discipline. Hawapendangi indiscipline katika jeshi. Sijui mbona Ogola baada ya kazi mpaka leo. Na tuko na watu wengi tutasema kila siku. Hata kuna huyo mwingine wa AP alikuwa anajifanya yeye ndiye anasimamia hapo maneno ya usalama hapo Bomas. Na ndiye alikuwa kateli mkubwa, mkora mkubwa, alikuwa anataka kuleta kumwaga damu hii Kenya. Tutawaambia every day. Lakini kitu tunataka tuambie wa Kenya, msikubali na hatutawahi mwaga damu kwa sababu hao wajinga. Ukishindwa kura kwenda nyumbani. Wacha kwenda kuungana pale kusema unajua tukifanya hivi itafanyika hivi, tukipanga hii itafanyika ile. Mungu ni mzuri sana. 2007 2008 tuliona maneno ya haifai. Juzi walikuwa wamepanga sana. Hii ni maajabu. But anyway, Ogola na Kioni, hii Kenya ni ya Wakenya milioni 50. Wacha kuhangaika, relax, mwende nyumbani. Na nyinyi jeshi mtuambie, wenye wanasimamia jeshi, huyo Ogola baada ya kasi kwa nini? Yani alitembea na mguu yake mwenyewe akaenda Bomas. Akaenda akaongea aliongea. Akajaribu kufanya alikuwa anajaribu kufanya. Lakini Mungu anapenda Kenya sana. That's why alikataa na akasema lazima tutoe Kenya kwa minyororo ya wakora.
I'm shocked. The reason why I'm shocked is that even after these careless statements, no one in the Kenya Kwanza team has condemned these statements. Oscar Sudi has not been summoned. It is business as usual. Where are we heading as a nation, ladies and gentlemen? Do you think that Oscar Sudi does not know what he's doing? Or are you surprised? If you ask me, I am not at all surprised. Because Oscar Sudi has been given a message by his masters to send to Ogola. A little message, very clear, that Major Ogola is not wanted in the military ranks and files. You know, Oscar Sudi sometimes behave like yeye ni Zuzu. Let me tell you, Oscar Sudi si Zuzu. That guy knows what he's doing, and he has adopted that line of behavior so that he can be used to send messages that other people cannot dare send. This is not the first time we hear these allegations about Francis Ogola. The first person who came up with these allegations was none other than Wafula Chebukati himself, the outgoing IEBC chairman, when he claimed that while in Bomas, there is a group of people who came to subvert the will of the people, to cajole him to announce Raila Amolo Odinga as the 5th president. Because apart from Wafula Chebukati coming up with these allegations, it also formed part of the defense for the Kenya Kwanza team. When then their lawyer, Mr. Kithure Kindike, took his part to defend the Kenya Kwanza team, their part of defense was that the Security Advisory Board came to Bomas very early in the morning to compel Wafula Chebukati to announce Raila Odinga. So Oscar Sudi, Wafula Chebukati, and the Kenya Kwanza team. Who was the presidential candidate for the Kenya Kwanza team? William Ruto himself. And so it behoves one to ask, who is Oscar Sudi working for? Whose message is he carrying? It is very clear, ladies and gentlemen, William Samoei Ruto. Let us look at the fallacy behind the claims and how all these fallacies were dealt with in the Supreme Court.
The NSC is the body in charge of our security. It is part of the executive and is established for the benefit of all Kenyans. It doesn't have political identity or political intention. Its members comprise those at the top echelon of our civil service and security infrastructure, and it is a body which in any organization of extensive public interest gets involved to try and see how it can assist on matters of security. The chairman of IEBC, Mr. Wafula Chebukati, has purported to present before this honorable court that he has neither the knowledge nor connection with NSAC. The record establishes otherwise. Indeed, from Mr. Kinywa's affidavit sworn on 28th October 2022, it is clearly shown that on 4th July 2022, the chairman was in attendance of a meeting of NSC and briefed the NSC on the status of the preparation of general election and sought to involve it fully on matters of security, both in context of ongoing activities and also to help them from time to time. You will also notice that the visit to the IEBC tallying center was instigated as a result of the activities which had gone on 13th and 14th, when there was suspension of transmission and display of the result, and without explanation from the IEBC. As deponed by Kinywa, he called the chairman and advised him that the NSC has intention to send a team to meet him and his fellow commissioners for purposes of discussing the security and implication of concerns surrounding transmission, tallying, verification, and declaration of results.
Number two, the claims that Lieutenant General Ogola, together with this team, went to the Bomas in the wee hours of the morning, was explained very explicitly. That at some point, results were trickling and they were being shown on TV. And so Kenyans were watching live what was happening. All of a sudden, the results that were showing on TV stopped and there was no any explanation from the IEBC, and tension was building up. So it forced the members of the security board to visit Chebukati to find out, because they had been working, Chebukati had briefed them of their level of preparedness. So because these members have got the intelligence outside, and so they wanted to ask Wafula Chebukati where the problem was so that they could help.
Nothing could have been true than the fact that he was rang by Mr. Kinyua, who told him that because of security concern and tension which was arising in the country, arising out of non-transmission, and of course we have had an example on this in previous election, he was sending a team to go and visit him and discuss the issue of security. That notwithstanding, the chairman pretends that this was an issue which he only came to know when he was informed by Professor Gulia.
And even before they visited Chebukati, they were so courteous that Kinyua himself, the former chief of staff, made a call to Wafula Chebukati before they visited him. And they told them, because they knew very well that Wafula was busy, so they had to make arrangements. And Kinyua called and told him, we are coming so that we can share, because it was very normal for these two groups to work together. And Wafula knew that they were going. Wafula Chebukati further claims that it was in that meeting where he was being compelled to announce Raila Amolo Odinga. Now, it is indicated very clearly that it was not only Wafula Chebukati who was there. He called all the other commissioners, including the Cherera team, Wanderi, Nyang'aya, and Masit, together with Gulie and Boya Molo. And the team is saying that there was no way they could compel Wafula Chebukati to announce Raila in the presence of all this team, yet even the team itself was divided. The funniest part of this story is that when this team arrived, in spite of the fact that Wafula knew very well that they were coming, they were kept for 4 hours waiting. Members of a security advisory board who went there to check on what was happening, because there was a lot of tension and anxiety among Kenyans. They were kept for not 1 hour, not 2 hours, not 3, but 4 good hours. And it tells you what that means, that Wafula Chebukati already had a formed opinion on these people, and the claims appeared before the Supreme Court.
But the attitude of the chairman is exhibited by the contempt by which he treated this team. They were not met when they came. They managed to find where to wait, but they were kept waiting for 4 hours. Members of a security team in the midst of an election where tension was rising. Having led them, the chairman claims that Mr. Kiara proceeded to caution him, among others, that if IEBC declared the results with Honorable Ruto as the president-elect, chaos would erupt, and that the blood of dead Kenyans will be in their hands. But at this time, they were meeting not in the presence of Mr. Kiara and the chairman. They were all contingent of commissioners and the team from the security who comprised 4 other people. And he is trying to allege that a top executive of government would have gone and made this declaration in the presence of all these people.
The other thing that deconstructs this fallacy is that after that, Wafula Chebukati went and reported this matter to the police, but neither in the OB nor in the statement that he made did he mention anything to do with this security advisory board going there and trying to compel him to announce Raila Amolo Odinga. And so one wonders why he went there to record a statement, yet he did not mention this. One funny thing is that In this divided team, the Cherera team have got affirms the position of the team that the only thing that was discussed was the security matters and why they had suspended the live streaming of the result. But Boya Molu and Abdi Gulie supports Wafula Chebukati's theory that they were trying to compel the team to announce Raila. So basically, this was a divided commission from the word go.
Curiously, the chairman reported the events which unfolded at the Tallying Center on 15th August to the police, and they filed both an OB and also made a statement. There was no mention at all of this heinous act. There's also not any mention of the visit in any of the numerous statements the chairman made. As is common in the divided house of IEBC, the chairman was supported by two commissioners who incidentally also went to the police and made statements, and both also failed an OB, no mention of this incident. On the other hand, the four dissenting commissioners have filed an affidavit dated 28th August, which confirms on behalf of herself and three others that the meeting indeed took place and what was discussed was issues of security, as was indicated by Mr. Kiara.
The other thing that comes out very clearly is that there is no evidence in all these allegations. As is the synonymous of this Kenya Kwanza government, everything they say is an allegation. The allegations from they wanted to kill Wafula Chebukati, to they wanted to kill Dennis Itumbi, to there was a container full of blood. Everything that they say is just full of allegations without any proof. And if we have to build our foundation on lies and allegations, I don't think Kenya will move any further. We will remain a stagnant nation.
It has been the position of this honorable court that where an election offense is alleged, the evidence should be clear, cogent, certain, and the proof of which the law commands to be beyond reasonable doubt. It cannot be based on allegation on one side, on a team which is known to be divided, each part supporting its position, and on allegations of the chairman without any further proof when he had had an opportunity to indicate what happened and failed to do so.
In the end, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Oraro pleaded with the court to throw away these allegations because they were only meant for character assassination, because there was no any evidence. All that they had were words being thrown here and there. Up to date, there is no any proof that there was anybody who was trying to compel Chebukati to announce Raila Odinga.
In the result, it is my humble submission that the allegation made cannot fly. All the chairman is doing is selling the character of other people to augment his claim for higher principle and integrity. And at the end of it, nothing comes out of the allegation. Indeed, after that, they proceeded, considered the results which were not ready as at the time this team was there, and announced the result he wanted to announce. Suffice is to say that this team, having met them and being satisfied that the results were being declared, made a statement to the whole country telling them to keep in peace and that all things were okay. And you will find that statement made on 16th in the affidavit of Mr. Kenywa.
Now, why is Oscar Sudi coming up with these allegations now? It is at the same time when Wafula Chebukati is also maintaining his position that he was being compelled To do what? To announce Raila. I had analyzed in my earlier video that the term of Kibochi, who is the chief of defense forces, is ending any soon, because it was even extended merely because we were approaching a hotly contested elections. So the law allows the president to extend the term of a chief of defense force when we were approaching a crisis, and the election that we were approaching was a crisis. So William Ruto understands that this is the time that he must appoint his own people. And like I mentioned earlier, the Tonje rule compels him to either choose on the Lieutenant General Francis Ogola or John Mbadi. I don't know if it's called John Mbadi, but I usually call him Mbadi, who was the former CEO of Nairobi Metropolitan Services. And it seems he does not want this, because that Tonje rule indicates that the chief of defense forces must rotate within the military level, the Kenya Navy, the Kenya Army, and the Air Force. Now, Kibochi took from Mwadhedhe, and Mwadhedhe was from the Kenya Navy. Kibochi is from the Kenya Army. So it goes without saying that it will go back to the Kenya Navy, to the Air Force, I mean. And Uhuru was so very strategic. He promoted these two generals, Francis Ogola and John Mbadi. And for William Ruto to boycott this trap, he must find a way of implicating Francis Ogola. And I think it is the reason why they are coming up with these allegations, so that they say that they cannot promote someone who wanted to subvert the will of the people. I don't want to dwell so much in this because I analyzed it in my earlier video, but it is the reason why Oscar Sudi is coming up with the careless talks. I must condemn these talks, because we cannot play politics even into our military. You see, I find it very funny with our president. The other time, he came up with the allegation that the special service unit was used to kill people and throw them in River Yala, and he disbanded it, announced to the whole nation, and robbers and criminals took over. He was advised even by the current governor of Trans Nzoia, Mr. George Natembeya, who is very, very close to matters security, that when you want to deal with security issues, you don't come up in the open. You deal with it secretly. And so I don't understand how careless Sudi was sent to go and, send this message, a very wrong message to Major Francis Ogola. And in fact, from where he is, I think Ogola knows very well that the die is cast, and he is not a man who is wanted in that place. And I think Ruto wants to place his own people. Do not blame Oscar Sudi. He is working for someone, and very soon you are going to see